Ho, 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 besties, and welcome to our HR Besties holiday party. Now, we recorded this live a week ago, but you know what? We absolutely wanted to share this with you as your special year-end bonus because we know you're not getting one at work, are you? So enjoy, besties, and thank you so much for joining us. We are so thankful that you are here. 'Tis the season, right, for gratitude and appreciation. So just a small shout out to all of y'all that have been listening, you're following, you're on with us tonight. Thank you so, so much. We love doing this. Right. So if you can't hear it through the podcast, like I'll just like flat out say it, that we absolutely love doing this content and having these staff meetings and just sharing what we know and just talking business and bullshit. Right. Hence the tagline, so it's definitely appropriate. But again, so thankful. Cheers to you. Ashley was doing kind of a cheers. Cheers to all y'all, that are with us tonight. Happy holidays. But thank you. Right. So just had to get that thanks out of the way. But let's jump into the agenda because we do have a hard stop, don't we? So our meetings, pretty typical. If you've heard one of the episodes, we're going to start with some cringy corporate speak. So Jamie's going to provide that to us. And then we are going to move into our meeting topic, which is everything and all things holidays in the workplace. Right. So you can imagine everything from burnout to time off to all those work events. My God. So we're going to go into that a little bit. And then we're going to open up to questions and comments. And so many of you have provided some questions and tons of comments before this meeting. And you can do them live here in the chat as well. We can all see them. Right. So welcome everyone that's joining and leaving comments. But we'll move into some Q's and C's. And then we're going to share some of our favorite things with several giveaways for you all. So we're super excited about that. So definitely hang in with us. And so we look forward to that because we love giving away stuff. And I love getting a bunch of free stuff myself. So that's always fun. College never leaves you mentally. You remember all those free meals in college? I don't know. Anyways, let's kick it off with Jamie. Turn it over to you for the cringe corporate speak. What do you got for us this meeting?
So our corporate speak today is going to be piggyback. This was actually a listener that gave this as our idea. So everyone is going to try to sneak it in to tonight's holiday party. I actually, unfortunately, said piggyback in one of our episodes. So I'm already shamefully guilty of that. But yeah, piggyback. So Ashley, Ashley, I'm gonna throw it to you, I think, for our meeting topics.
Yeah, we appreciate that listener throwing in that cringy corporate speak. It's very true because now you're just envisioning one leader on, hobnobbing on the back of another. And
we've talked about think.
Yeah,
it's gross.
Talk about some of those.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, so if you can't see, Jamie and I are short. Like we've talked about this, that we're, if we were to get on top of each other, well, that didn't sound right. If we were to be,
that's what she said.
If we were to be like Mary Kate and Ashley and the detectives coat, we would be about eye level with Lee. Like Lee is
sure.
It has
I'm 5'11".
She has an executive presence where I have the legs of a dachshund. So
legs of a dachshund. I haven't heard that one. I always say I have legs up to my ass.
So so feel free to drop in.
I am fun size.
Thank you. You're very, very fun size. And it's amazing seeing some of our friends, some of our favorite podcast hosts come in here. We have Legal Burnouts with Kate, Corporate Gossip with Becca. I have Rosie down here, so you may see her popping up with her toy.
I saw Justine's here. Hi, Justine.
That's some awesome ones.
I know lots of friends.
Love it. So in our meeting topic, with some of the questions we got in, and we will say this, that a lot of the questions and comments we got in advance, like over half of them, and there were a lot of them, if we were to piggyback, would be these height, were people writing in to saying, just thank you. Just like, thank you. I feel seen. I'm a team of one. And we appreciate that. And we literally read every review, all of those things. And we are very happy to be here and have people listen because we have a kick of it. And we've all been HR of different teams. San Francisco, Australia, we got an international crew. But so we appreciated those very much. People that just wrote in to say to say funny things, and people that have been submitting some of these hilarious stories. So we'll get to that for season 2. This is not. I don't have a puppet.
I see
This is
Rosie.
my dog.
I see Rosie.
But so the meat of the meeting is a combination of some of the requests in part, which is all things holiday in the workplace. And so we thought we'd kick it off. We had a great suggestion from a listener, which is do's and don'ts of the holiday party. Or as they said, what can I do or at the holidays to not have a one-on-one with my boss on that next Monday morning? So yeah. So Lee, you want to kick us off?
Absolutely, I do. Because for the HR professionals out there, which I'm just going to make the assumption maybe is the majority of the crowd, who knows, right? You work in the space of people. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But I think we have all had that experience with some sort of repercussions from a holiday party at work. I mean, like I'm not personally, I'm just saying like with your workforce, right? Like we all have some stories to share. And so from a don't perspective, right? Just best practices is don't mandate attendance to your holiday events, right? Because then everyone's going to show up. And that means all those that don't behave within your workforce as well. Like don't mandate it. Don't pressure people to show up. There are some business I've worked at them before where it's like, you have to show up, you know, like the pressure from the boss or whatever. Everybody is different. Right. There's neurodivergent folks out there. There's folks that are like extremely introverted like myself. Oh my God, please do not mandate the Christmas party. Like if I feel like the vibe is good, like I'll be there. But if my vibe's off for that day, like I'm out, you know, but please do not base my promotion on whether or not I can spend another 5 hours with folks on my Saturday. You know what I mean? So please, like, don't, I think that's absolutely a don't mandate attendance to a holiday party. Are we in agreement on that one?
Agree. I think a lot of times too, HR is the people that have worked insanely hard to create the event, right?
Always.
So in a lot of my career, I've been an HR department of one. So probably I've been planning for months, weeks, you know, and so I have to be there. And I'm busy. So I can't even enjoy a glass of wine while I'm there because I'm running around making sure we have service awards or the boss knows the CEO's speech or the drawing or the bonus or so it honestly, the holiday, I've never had fun at a holiday party simply because it's usually a stressful event for me.
And can we not put it on HR?
Thank you.
Can we not put it on HR? I mean, because I've had to throw parties before myself, but what I did was I put a team together. Like I want representation from every function and make it like a team thing. So there's ownership and accountability with the business, you know? But man, it sucks always having to be the party planner. From an HR perspective.
It really isn't a skill set. Like if just because you happen to be, you know, masochists as we've talked about and take on and try to navigate those things, both the open enrollment, but also dealing with the people issues does not mean that you're necessarily good at talking to the people or showing up to the restaurant. And also the thing is, some people have kids and all of a sudden this night out, like the going rate, I don't know what happened in the pandemic, but the going rate for babysitters is quite significant. And so you're looking to people, and I see this note here, Callie, shout out Callie, that their boss used to hand out bonuses at the holiday party.
When you like had to go. And you felt like you had to go to get your bonus, right?
Well, and that's super, super awkward. And that stuff happens, but it's also similar to what we talked about in the Dave Ramsey episode, which again, you know, we knew that would come up, that topic, but was like to give out a referral bonus to somebody when their person starts, you give it out in front of the whole team. Well, let me tell you, everybody else on the other team has referred people and they're pissed. And the same thing, people are going to be getting their bonuses and they're going to be trying to like peek at other people's. Also, who gets a physical check these days, unless it's a big giant check that's enough money that people can retire. So I would, thinking about dates and being inclusive. I say this, I am Jewish. I celebrate Hanukkah. Yes. And so a lot of people can feel like the other at work, whether you're a different religion or you have these things, and just just being mindful of those things. And when people get really defensive and are like, I don't want to call it a holiday party, like, okay, well, that, it tends to suggest some other things that are becoming my way from an employee relations standpoint.
And I think that's why HR is usually put in charge of those, because they're the ones that think about, oh, so-and-so is fasting. We can't have, we need to make sure we have
options,
enough vegetarian options or fish options. I know, at least for me, when I worked in hospitality, is that a lot fell on me, because I knew that our population had different, maybe not during Christmas time, but specifically for our Easter. There was a lot of fasting during that time on different religions, and just being mindful of that. So it was always put on my plate, because Lord knows if the CEO, he would have just had steaks for everyone.
No pun intended. One of the best things I ever did was probably today I did like a video about different departments in the holiday party. I worked in sales before I went to law school, and we used to have this thing in sales. It was called In Day. So it was like the end of the year. We'd have to be at work from 7 to 7. And it sounds like, now that sounds like my worst nightmare. When you're 22 and they give you free lunch and then you go to happy hour afterwards, it was the silver lining. It was absolutely a trap.
Absolutely a trap.
It was absolutely
free beer.
Like the call is coming from inside the house.
The cash machine. You would if you got tickets for things, like you got to do a cash machine. Like somebody won the little robot thing. Somebody else won a suitcase full of movies, and so everybody else on the team ended up getting a DVD for the holidays. But we did not really have a legal or HR department, and so I think the best thing I learned from an employment lawyer perspective was being in sales before I went to law school, and seeing kind of the things that can happen at the holiday parties and having a good time. And so yeah, we'll
anything you can share.
I mean, just say we used to have LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn, so we'll just say,
that's true.
Do as I say, but I will say that sometimes having those.
We'll film something later and add it in.
That's right. We'll add it. We'll get it to people to listen to season 2. We have some tales from that time in my life.
Yeah, there's a good story. Couch cushion that went missing.
Yeah,
holiday party.
We'll have some. This is what's coming up in season 2. But Lee, you want to flip us to the next do or don't?
Yes. Well, one of the do's is that you should recognize that this isn't the happiest time of year for everybody, right? Like the three of us, we love the holidays, right? But for some, not so great. So again, I'm going to go back to don't mandate a holiday party. Don't believe everyone believes what you do, right? Really put that DEIB hat on, but just be cognizant of that some people are really, really suffering at this time and do not feel like a party. And not to sound grinchy, because I love a party and y'all know that. I do. Boy.
We've seen your stories.
I'm just glad the internet wasn't really a thing when I went to college. You know what I mean? I can't be president. I already know that. There's too much documentation, but thank God, I'm not a student now, because that would have been, oh my God, that's horrific. But I can't. There's no way I can be president. Sorry, I just had a thought about that. There's absolutely no way. But anyway,
I've been on Facebook since 2004. If you think about that.
No, I was OG. But you had to upload photos. You remember how hard that was? No, oh my God. And you just do that full download. And there's no resolution. Oh my God.
No cameras.
I know. Yeah, you do the camera at the bar. But anyways, not to sound grinchy, but I would say don't even have a holiday party. Give the people what they want, which is either take that $250,000 you're spending on a holiday party, asterisk, depending on the size of your organization.
I was about to say, hold on.
I know. I've had some biggies. And split it as bonuses to your people, or holiday shutdown. Can we please have a break week? Just holiday shut down it. Because even when you are off for the holidays, it sucks because other people aren't. So they're still emailing, they're still calling, just give everyone just a mental wellness break, just time to reflect in the year, and however your organization looks. That might not work for all industries. Obviously, you have to close the year out, but then do it the first week of January and come back strong, right? But something. do something, else, consider something else,
Yeah,
That's me. Again, Grinchy.
No, well, I think it's just thinking about the realities of things. Like I say, when I was 22 years old, having a holiday party was probably top on my list. I lived in DC. I didn't, I like lived with four girlfriends. Like it was like lean time, so I have a free event to go out and have like decent food and something other than like split a Yingling. Like absolutely. But thinking about your workforce and what things are like, and especially right now, like
Read the room.
Yeah, read the room. And so I do think sometimes this is why it's asking team members, and sometimes it can be either or. You can do things that are celebratory. Like I love a good I love these comments coming in.
HR besties for friends.
Pres of something that's not a public office. But is to think about that. And that's why I think making things optional. Like so people that love a reindeer game. You want to do things for each other. Like I've had situations, or like I talked about this last Thursday. I went to my mother's retirement. The people probably saw my video. My mother retired. She'd gone to law school later in life. And I will tell you, her state agency, I do not believe in the thing of like work as a family type of thing. This was like a jolly family. You've never met a public agency that's like so happy to be around each other. People are like so kind, and like they have all these like fun shenanigans. And so like what works in different workplaces matters, but recognizing for people, again, having like the bonus, like sometimes right now sometimes it is that bonus, or it is like the time off, like right before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. I played in a tennis match. I'm not as bougie as you think. I'm out there hacking it. But I played against someone, and she was like, "Oh, my workplace, we're actually shut down for this week of Thanksgiving. They took away our like box access, so we can't even log in." Do you know how many people I've told about this? And she's like, it's actually great. We literally can, because, I now have
incredible
a little bit, because I have my own business. So I'm like working on things and just keeping up with stuff. So like we're driving down from Atlanta to Florida, and I'm keeping up with stuff. To think about that piece of time being an employee and literally being able to check out, and it not being like just socially acceptable, but like mandated. That is a gift that can matter so much to people, no matter their family status, their friends. Anyway, so I think giving that aspect of time off when it's realistically what's actually going to get done, and then rewarding the people that have to work, your frontline workers, your skeleton crew, doing things like that, I think is important.
Yeah. So quickly on the holiday party do's and don'ts, do keep your pants on. Do keep your shirt on. Because I've had both of those. Not me. I'm just saying.
Well,
no, not me. No, not me. Not
what
me.
about my hat?
And I'm just saying.
Yeehaw!
People get wild. They can, right? And then there's always after parties. Alcohol. So maybe a don't attend the after party, especially if you're a leader.
Yes,
that might be good. Because that's can come to bite you.
You don't tend to regret drinking too little or leaving too early. But on the flip side, the others that tend to lead to some things. I see James.
People love to get loose. People love to get loose over the holidays.
Loosey-goosey.
Any other do's and don'ts? Definitely drop them in the chat. Just love to hear them.
Recognize everyone's hard work for the year. Recognize your employees.
Appreciation, thankfulness. I love it.
Well, and one thing with recognition is I've talked a lot to organizations that think about recognizing. Sometimes people hear recognition or they hear terms like that, and like people in business are like, "Oh, that's awkward. Like I don't know what to do." So putting it in your language. Or one of the tools I talk about is like using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not your diary, and it's not an encyclopedia, so you don't want to put personal information in there. But if you're in leadership and we're saying recognize your team members, and you're thinking, how on earth do I do that? Going to ChatGPT to saying like, this is my general role, and what are like a few different ways.
Message.
I mean it, but like don't copy Luke would absolutely copy and paste that. But thinking about ways to put that, you don't have to be so formal, but doing it in the ways that are authentic to you.
I think it's important too about recognition is you should already know how your team wants to be recognized too. So for instance, I think that's something that you need to ask everyone on your team immediately to get to know them, because what if I do not want to be publicly recognized and then you called me out in front of a room full of 500 people? I would be mortified, right? But I do love it. But on the flip side, you know what I mean? There could be someone who wants to be publicly and you instead privately recognize them. So I think that's really important too, that sometimes it really is a simple, hey, thank you for going the extra mile. But someone's guilty of using ChatGPT. I mean, it's helpful. That should be a whole season 2 episode about AI and HR. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say about recognition, as just make sure you know what kind of recognition that your team wants to receive.
Yeah, no, I love that. And, to kind of segue, because this is all things holiday workplace, right? Besides just the holiday party, there's all the work events during work time, right? So the appreciation lunches, the team lunches, team dinners, the swag gifts, the potlucks, like all the things. I know, the secret Santas in the office.
Oh, I hate it.
Like all of the things. I'm already having a reaction to all of the things that are happening.
Getting itchy.
Our thoughts on just all of those holiday activities in the workplace. For me personally, I love to celebrate. I really, really do. But what I have observed in my HR career is that I think that a lot of those activities make people more uncomfortable than they actually enjoy them. Does that make sense? Like, make that make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because so many people, especially even now versus earlier in my career, they have more boundaries with work. They try not to perhaps get too close to folks, or they stay professional or whatever, And so for them, even I just have folks that hate recognizing their birthdays at work. They don't even want people to know their birthday month. Right. So like, what's the boundary there, between team building and togetherness and belongingness, and then, doing all of these sorts of activities there? Like, how do we balance that in the workplace?
Jamie, you want to kick us off?
I would say, once again, that's one of the first questions that I typically ask, like intake. New hire is, do you want your birthday to be recognized? Dietary restrictions. This is just being, HR for the last 20 years. What kind of recognition? These are things that should be asked day one, actually before day one, before they even get in. So you as a manager knows what your team member needs, wants, and how you can react to that for anything, not just, team member dinners, but also too, like, I have young kids, and I always feel guilty saying no to things like a night vent, and I shouldn't have to, because I have young children. And so I think, once again, when we were 20, I'll go to a happy hour and I'll sling back a couple, but I can't do that now. I got to get home. I got to pick up kids. Daycare closes at a certain time. So it's just being mindful of your staff and who they are, and kind of meeting them in the middle. And having those events at work. I prefer to have events at work because you're getting paid to have said events. And then you're not
Spoken
being
like a true extrovert.
You're not being voluntold to be, at, happy hour down the street at 6 p.m. when daycare closes at 6 p.m.
I think, and also I have, so some of these new hire questionnaire, I have a managermethod.com. If you go to my free resources, I have onboarding guides. That's information to learn about the new employee and to teach them about the team. So feel free to get those for free. Those are not, those are free on managermethod.com. So it's slight thing, but I agree is in some of the comments about potlucks. And to me, things like,
y'all know how I feel about potlucks.
Things like Secret Santa, White Elephant. And I've gotten some questions like, what is White Elephant? And for those that, especially outside, it seems like a uniquely US thing, like Secret Santa being like, I have Lee, I'm getting her secret things. And some people will go all out and they're like Elfie, and, they leave like notes. Other people are like, oh my God, like just forget.
There's a $25 gift card.
Yeah. There's like a disparity, or they forget and they're like, I don't want to, there's like a disparity. or the white elephant, which is like where we go and we have all of us in a room, and you go and pick
It's like
out
Dirty Santa.
Yeah, which is like, I don't like that phrase. I don't know why. But you go and unwrap a gift. And I was talking to a friend that went to a work thing, and she's like, "Oh my God, I got like a funny thing." And she's like, people started unwrapping, and she's like, I was like crawling in my chair because people are unwrapping like serious, like a beautiful ornament. And she's like, "Oh my God, mine's like vaguely inappropriate." And she's like, I literally was like, couldn't even pay attention because I was like shaking. I wanted to like run out of the room because she's like, mine was the only funny one. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a sad team. But it's like the same thing with a potluck where, if you do a white elephant, no one picks your gift, no one steals your gift, people's feelings get hurt. The potluck, can tell you is ripe for the food poisoning. And it's also the judging. People are like, who made this? And then someone says and they skip over it.
Yeah, nope.
Yeah, well, Jamie, I love that concept of including some of these personal questions, you can or cannot answer, right? One of those through your onboarding process, because it really does create this feeling of belonging, like right from the jump, because research says that people decide whether they're going to leave a job within the first 2 weeks of starting it, right? I mean, wow, look what we're up against. And reflect back, like when you start a job, you already get kind of like weird vibes, or nobody cares about me. No one even showed me where the bathroom was. Like nobody, like, you know what I mean? So that's a fair point, to kind of do that. But I think, again, for me, it returns back to don't mandate anybody to do anything that's like elective at work, and that, like respect people's authentic whole selves in the workplace, who they are, their differences. And if you are a leader, or if you're coaching leaders, better said, even, encourage them to lean in and actually care and understand who they're leading, like get to know who they're leading. And some of the folks they're leading may not even want to share about themselves, but then, hey, that's a cue to the leader. Oh, okay, they're private and I'm going to respect that. You know what I mean? And so maybe I won't do the open recognition or the bonus or whatever the case may be. But again, I think the onus is on the leader to flex to each and every person on their team, and not the opposite. Some of the worst leaders I've had, man, it's always everyone flexes to them. And it is just like, wait, what? Like to me, it doesn't work that way, but whatever.
One thing,
what do I know?
Keep in mind, I think one thing to keep in mind as well is as leaders is thinking about succession planning. And what I really mean by that is, does your job look like one that people would ever want to have? And as you think about who in your wizardry might go through the org chart, it's important to be able to have internal promotions, because if you're only hiring externally, that creates a lot of issues. And so you should be working on that, but it's a two-way street. And so some of those things that people are going to keep in mind are those things of, does my leader, like, is their job to be planning these after hours events? And is that something that I see them doing? Like every night they're going out with members of the executive, and they're coming to the office or on calls and complaining about, I had all these client dinners, and I'm thinking, I can't possibly do this, so I'm never going to even put myself out there. But also those in-office events. If you've ever seen those where you go to a luncheon, and it may be a luncheon, and you're like, okay, well, this is our thing, we're doing it together. And you look around and like some of the employees are there and others are like outside on the phone the whole time. And in your mind, you're thinking this is not like a surgeon, or this is like a life and death. This is like something into being able as a leader to think about, how is this looking to my team? And am I like, this is our like annual thing? And is this like just some people like, okay, just more of the same? And being able to really take that time and focus and show up. Sometimes you may think that that's the easiest time to skip over, but that's actually often the most important time to invest and be able to show that you can also take time. I just think that that's a thing that a lot of leaders aren't thinking about, what they're portraying, and then they end up surprised when people want to leave because they think to themselves, like, I don't see myself in that position.
Yeah, because, whatever you're doing as a leader, whatever you're hosting as an organization, people are going to make judgments on their own cultural fit within that company, organization, team, department, whatever the case may be, So I love that. I think that's just something to recognize. There's no right answer, right? But again, I think it is about understanding, listening, flexing, figuring out what works best for your organization, So
Yep.
anyways, can't wait for more work events in the office, but I think that the consensus is, should we be doing potlucks? Probably not.
No.
Just
And
cater.
boy, I
Absolutely not.
love some.
Cater that shit. Cater that
Some
shit.
people- Some people have some amazing recipes, and there may be people that are, sometimes every once in a while
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
has an
I'm
amazing
sure.
recipe.
I'm sure they
And-
do.
And
I just
but
don't want to try them and get sick.
really, it does. It ends up being like this comment, Sarah, in here: stress of making something perfect for the potluck and wanting other people to like it. People pleaser here is so
Yeah.
stressful. I
know.
talked about this in a video. We're very real. I once made a muffin, and not Lux. That's amazing. I literally saw someone, senior leader, take a bite out of my muffin, look at it, make a face, and throw it away.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no.
That image is burned.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no.
For the record, everything I've ever made's been a hit.
She had to throw that in there.
Your face.
She's made nothing, by the way. She's
No, I
made
have.
nothing.
I have,
Tell
because
me.
in my culture, here, and I'm in San Antonio, it's like, it's pretty communal. Like, we love making stuff and swapping food and all of that. You know what I mean? And
It's
so,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
gotta be a
still,
trusted source for me.
yeah.
I
It
would
should
eat
be.
your food, Lee. I would eat your food, Ashley. Like,
You made me
I'm-
real nervous when you said leave. First.
No.
would.
No. I'm
not eating your muffins, Ashley.
No.
I'll tell you that.
You can make me your muffins when I stay.
Thank you. I will.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can come and stay. You can come and stay at my house again, and I will make them.
I will
for
eat
you,
your muffins. That
and you
sounded
will make a face. And,
Oh, damn.
all right.
um,
I actually, there was a comment, and I think this would be a great question. But there was a comment that someone took their gift very seriously in White Elephant or Dirty Santa,
Always.
and they received a rubber chicken. So I want to know what is, and not necessarily that you received, but what was the worst Dirty Santa or White Elephant gift that you were received from work, specifically work. I actually, this was a couple of years back, had someone receive a hamster. No shit.
like a live hamster.
A live hamster. Yeah.
What, a dead one, Ashley? What the? I mean, oh my
I'm
God.
not like no. Well, okay.
You're just being like a real, like
hold
a
on.
legit.
No, you don't go to
She
Cracker
couldn't
Barrel.
take it
It's
back to the
disappointing.
pet store. She couldn't take it back. And of course, the person that received it
So
didn't
what do you
want it.
flush it?
So no, luckily another employee took it home to her child. But I'm not telling, like, this was like the hit of The Office. Everyone thought it was so hilarious, but it was
No.
not funny. Like, the
No.
person that received it was horrified.
Mhm.
And then the person that gave it thought she was being like cheeky, but she was mortified. A live hamster, y'all.
Man, that
Like,
is
I've
great.
even seen fish before, but that's not, it's a fish. It was a beta fish,
a living
too. But a
thing.
live freaking hamster. It was in like a box and it had a wheel. Like it unwrapped, and we were all like, "All right, I'm gonna have to deal with this." It
Oh,
was amazing.
like, that's just giving someone a chore for
A
Christmas.
gift box.
You know?
It is.
Oh
Of
my
$2
gosh.
tortilla chips.
How long
And a
do
sheet that
hamsters?
said you like Mexican food.
But how long do hamsters live? Like, I don't know. Honestly, if you were to tell me they lived for 2 months, I'd be like, okay. Or if you were to say 20 years, I'd be like, also,
No,
okay.
I mean, I think that if you take good care of them, I think they live a while. I don't know. I've never had a hamster.
I'll
Oh my God.
I'll tell you.
No, like, it was a big deal. People still like talked about it years later. Like, the next year that we did, it was White Elephant that we did. The next year they were like, I hope no one gives. And of course, the
Y'all
poor
played
girl
again?
is mortified. Yeah.
I
She
would
was
have said, shut
mortified.
that shit down. We're never playing this game again.
Well,
People don't know how
I
to be.
Roll me one.
Giving away
specifically said
souls.
no
creatures.
live animals in the rules.
But have you seen? But you know what I'm talking about. To clarify, because I feel like I need to. Circling back to piggyback.
In the Kia Soul.
You know the thing at Cracker Barrel or wherever, where it's like it's like a battery operated, and you put it in a thing. They live 2 to 3
Oh no,
years.
this was live.
Oh, jeez.
That's
That's a lot of commitment.
I'll tell
It did
you.
not
I'll
come
tell
with
you.
food either.
I'll tell you a holiday one. It was my husband's. So my husband and I, we worked together. We met when we were 22, working together, and we may have had a kiss at our team holiday party. So we're gonna start do there. So then a couple days later was our Secret Santa, and our boss was about a year older than us. Again, so we were 22. She was a very wise 23, and so everyone gave everyone presents, and then we process of elimination. She was like, I'm going last, and so the last person to go is my husband and Dan, and so she gives him 2 presents, and she opens it up, and it's a little airplane bottle of vodka. And then she gives another thing, and it's a framed copy of my intranet picture. And she said, because now clearly the 2 go together. And I was very, very, embarrassed. But 20 plus years later,
Worked
here we
out
are.
for you, though.
It was almost exactly probably 20 years ago. And so
it worked out. So
yeah, it worked out. But let me tell you, that's what I say, from the HR legal standpoint, it probably was honestly.
God, I'm trying to think of the worst gift I've received. I've received actually some really sweet things. I mean, where I've cried, all dumb, like things that are monogrammed or meaningful or whatever.
You're such a good cook, Lee.
Oh, exactly. So you shall be rewarded for your cookies.
Wait, did you cry when you received my gift? Have you received my gift?
Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah. I have it up too. Because I'm like that. HSP, highly sensitive person. But I remember one gift that really sucked, and I hope they are listening, is that someone gave me a perfume sample, from the frickin' mall. Where it's just a little bottle, I
think the teeny tiny,
I don't have not even that big. A third of that size. I bought someone something all, nice, of course, to the point, which is fine, right? I mean, that's fine. But, a little reciprocity would have been more fine than a free perfume sample. But
magazine fair out. You go.
Yeah, it was like that. You know what I mean? But it was hey, thanks a lot for it. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. But that's okay. So basically I smell. That's how I took that, right? Obviously I stink. So I'm sure it was something meaningful like that they were, sending me a low key, high key message there. So that was lovely,
We've gotten some nice ones. Monogram oven mitts. We got a meat box for 2 people. We're a family of 5. Thank you.
But I love a good meat box.
I actually just thought of one that I'm insanely mortified. We did Dirty Santa, and it was this is when I worked for a nonprofit, guys. And so just the exec level did it. And I think our limit was $30. And so I bought $30 worth of lottery tickets because I thought that was a great gift. I thought anyone, men or women, could enjoy that. And our CEO got my box, and she was like, I've never played the lotto. What do I do? What am I supposed to do? And I was literally mortified. She made me feel like utter shit. And I thought that was a great gift, because what if she won?
Did she win? Was it a scratch off? Was it a scratch off?
She won a couple free tickets, but I mean, she was like, so what do I do with these? Do I have to go to the gas station? I'm pretty sure she sent her executive assistant to go get them.
You basically gifted her hope.
I was mortified. I thought that was such a good gift. I mean, I will never get lottery tickets ever again for anyone, but I thought that was a great gift.
Well, you can give that to me. That is something that we do in my family. We love giving people hope.
That.
Yeah. And the chance for money.
I mean, yeah.
She was not impressed.
Oh, God. All right. Okay. So I'm looking at the time. I know that we do have a hard stop, and we absolutely want to save time for questions and comments. So drop some questions here in the chat. I know we received one.
Yeah.
We've received some, but just a couple things that I had on the list for the meeting topic is terms and layoffs over the holidays. Rude. Super rude.
Terrible.
Please do not do that. That is so freaking rude. Okay. Gosh. I hope there's finance people here on this call. Stop with that shit. Time off and overworking, PTO, all of those things. If you're taking the time, please take the time, disconnect, take care of yourself as much as possible. That's so important. And then just burn out in general, right? This is the time of year to just be totally maxed out, especially if you're an HR professional, because why do we shove every single HR activity into the last month of the year? People aren't working around here trying to close out the year or anything. Oh my gosh. So take care of yourself, do all the self-care, all of that. We're thinking of you as we think of ourselves trying to survive, trying to survive this month. We're in the exact same boat, just like treading water, trying to make it through. But holidays in the workplace. Any closing thoughts, Ashley and Jamie? Any comments? Anything profound to share?
Profound or
Well,
profane?
Well, you guys know, I texted y'all last week. I think it was when we were in our little text chat, and I was saying how this season particularly, I'm always very high stress. Not only do I have the holidays, but I also have a couple kids' birthdays. Lee and I both are December babies. We're Sagittarius queens. And so I was joking with them, and I'm not kidding. I literally have a spreadsheet that I have to keep. And they were like, "You should sell that.
You should make that a digital thing."
Because in 2024 I got the shingles, and so I think
you called the shingles
because of
I think you just
in
aged
the future?
shingles. The shingles in 2014. I got the shingles. Anyway, long story short is not only do we have the added work stress of like closing out the year, holiday parties, etc. Just be mindful that your employees have so much outside of work as well. Maybe they have 800 birthdays like me in their family or whatever it is. So just be mindful as, employees aren't going to be 100% in December. And guess what? That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think recognizing people again during the holidays need things, and sometimes it's kid things, and then adds other things to your employees that don't have children, and so just they have their personal needs as well, and everything is as valid. But a lot of times, I think recognizing the things people have during the day, and I've seen situations or heard of situations where people show up to a school event and they're like, "I got to go. My boss is, my boss doesn't know I'm here." And I think that's just it's so sad, especially when you look at situations where people talk about like, parental involvement in schools. Well, in the workplace is a huge enabler of how people can show up, whether they show up for their children, elsewhere in their community, for themselves. You have those really strong ripple effects. And so if you think about like, are you kidding me? Like an hour away, an hour and a half away. So someone doesn't have to sneak out to go to their mental health appointment or to go to see their children's holiday activity, to stop that aspect. And especially as you look at for hourly employees as well, thinking of ways that organizations can support, because frequently they're thinking to themselves two things. One is, I don't want to ask my boss for the time off. And two, I can't afford it. So that hour and a half level, if you can give that to your employees and give generous enough PTO plans, so you're not cutting out of someone's vacation to try to take time away and just letting them go out and come back, that can be a difference that people literally remember for their whole lives. And that's, it's a real privilege of leadership to be able to give people that time and give it to them without shame or fear.
Oh, mic drop right there. Are there any questions or comments? Or not a question, but a quick comment. Are there any questions and comments? What do we have, Ashley?
Yeah, we got some in our chat.
We have some in our chat. I love it. These Sagittarius queens. I'm a Pisces, which I don't know what that means about me. But
you bake shit muffins. Sorry. No, it's fine. You can redeem yourself.
I'm going to send. I will. Oh, don't you worry. Don't you worry, Lee.
I can't wait to eat your muffin.
I can't wait till Lee comes to stay at my house. Jamie will willingly take it. Lee's going to wake up and I'm going to be in her face with a muffin in front of her mouth like a hostage.
This cranberry almond muffin.
It's exactly what it was. Yes, it was a cranberry almond bran muffin. Oh, sure. Which I know sounds disgusting.
It does kind of.
But so we got some questions in advance, and these were real questions. These weren't ones that we made up to be like, we had some planted.
We're not planting quite. Like in every all hands.
I know. It's shocking. How did the CEO get so handsome? Like, oh my God, who said that? So winding up some of the questions and comments is one had asked, hey, hold on, do managers and leaders that you work with, did they know about things like the podcast? And so let me flip it and say, how do you think about balancing social media and work? And I'll say for myself, So I've been in legal and HR. I have my own business. And so everybody I work with right now has all found me on social media or word of mouth or I've known. And so that helps me tremendously as a sieve. So people know kind of my style and things like that. But I do take that as, I do take that very seriously. And I think about things. I like to get jokey and I like to be funny. I like to do things I think are funny. But I also, things that I talk about with like manager training, like I take that very seriously. And so, but the thing that I love the most is when we launched the podcast, how many people, and I mean like of all levels of, including like chief people officers, reached out and they were like, toe sucking. And I just like, I just think in so many, and I think part of this is HR, but every profession, like a lot of times, like you're just trying to be human and like just show your real personality. And so for me, I've appreciated that every time I work with people, we end up like laughing on a call. And so that's been really, really helpful for me. And I take that seriously. But there's definitely situations where I've been an employee where like you never would have heard me pop up on a podcast or do any social media because that was verboten.
Yeah, let the record show that the first phrase of this entire podcast was toe sucking, and you're welcome.
Yep.
But I'll tell you that I'm an HR executive, right? So I do work full time, and I've been in HR, I don't know, 18 years, but it feels like 80, whatever the dog years are, HR years, right? I have to do the conversion.
Yeah.
But going into this role, I negotiated HR manifesto in to say, hey, that's me, right? This is something that needs, it's going to, I just literally want to accept the job without HR manifesto coming along. But, of course, I'm never going to use my current employer name or any moments from anything I share has nothing to do with my current employer. And I don't name drop companies, right? Or people, right? I protect the guilty and the innocent when I share stories, but I'll tell you, I've had a lot of employees email me globally, like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I worked with you," and whatever else. And a lot of my colleagues are in my DMs and they're enjoying, And so they found out about it and they reach out, and that's kind of neat. You know what I mean? So that's been different. That's new, but I enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. So for me, I keep it on the DL. I think at my current job, I'm pretty new. I don't think a lot of people know, and that's okay. I would prefer it that way. If they found out, they haven't said anything to me, which is fine too. Now at my last company, no one knew until I left. And it's actually been great because one, that company was amazing and they were supportive, but I knew they were not going to be super fond of the podcast. So that is why I choose to leave. But everyone from my old company reaches out and tells me what huge fans they are of the podcast. And it really makes my day. And I wish that every company was, because we're able to do these things. We're able to run not only our social media accounts, but to have a podcast and still work full-time jobs and be moms or wives or sisters or brother, whatever, not brothers. But you know what I mean? We're all able,
whatever.
Don't call me out.
We're all able to be these things and still be successful in our careers. So, I will say, I will dread the day though that I'm in a meeting and someone goes, "Hey, wait, aren't you Humorous Resources?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Well, we did get that. We did get this, and I'll say this as one thing to circle back is. So I started. So as a lawyer, my first in-house job, meaning not working for a law firm, working directly for a company, I went to work for a client, and that is Cumulus Media, so radio station. And so they have podcasts. And so a lot of what I did was like I was part of a lean legal team. We had so much fun. Like I'm happy to talk positively. We worked 8 to 5. We'd like watch YouTubes. We had so many laughs as our legal department and just had amazing relationships with our colleagues across it. And a lot of those colleagues in radio don't have advanced degrees. And so it was like a lot of salt to the earth people that have moved on up and they're looking for you for advice. And it was just really great relationships that we had with legal. But I used to edit all the time, like radio agreements and talent agreements and podcasts. And so if you would have told me, 12 years ago, that I would ever be on this side of the mic it is like the craziest dream come true. And it's the amazing these people I worked with, including one I was very close with that passed away at the beginning of the year, who used to respond. He used to DM me almost every day on LinkedIn. And he kept saying, you need a podcast. You need a podcast. I'll do your audio, because he's like an audio wizard. And so for me, it's been a real, like the highlight of my career has been people I worked with, or like being on this side and like letting go of my, I'm a lawyer, this is it. And so I hope as people listen, you think about ways that you can leverage that creative aspect or things that you had in your mind. Like I always wanted to be a playwright. And so bringing this in different ways that we do as we talk about episodes, like it is a pleasure. And it is both validating and horrifying that so many people can relate to our experiences. But so for like, I literally lived on like the boring side of this for years and years and years. And so it's been amazing to like unleash my thoughts on the world with my two besties. But one of the questions we got as well, one is, have you ever been recognized in public? And I know the answer to Lee, we were there.
I have not. Yeah. Lee was recognized when we were recording season 1. It was hilarious. But
yeah, we went out to dinner.
Recognized.
Yeah. And the way that guy just,
it was amazing.
What did he say?
I love your comedy skit.
Your comedy account. I love your comedy account. Oh, thank you.
None of us could hold it in.
Yeah. Well, I think the coolest thing is I get bought drinks. People buy me drinks. Like I've had platters of shots like to the table and stuff. Maybe that's an overshare, but I do appreciate that when you see me and you do that, versus people that like will take photos of me, like, which is fine. You can take a photo, but you don't have to be like weird about it. Like just come up. I know I have RBF. You know what I mean? I know I look scary as hell because I'm like 5'11" and all like RBF.
I wouldn't call it RBF. You have a no face, and Jamie and I have yes faces, and that's what makes us mesh.
It's expressive, but when it's not on, it's just like RBF-y. But yeah.
Like
so that
comedy.
does happen.
I like the comedy video. And this was his wife. You could tell he had been thinking about it. And she was like, let's go.
His wife was like, bro, really?
Yeah.
I got recognized at the Taylor Swift concert with my daughter, but I was and we were in the second to top row, literal nosebleeds. And I went to take a picture to the people next to us. We were taking turns taking pictures of each other. And I was taking a picture and these people gave me a funny look. And I thought I was like putting my like rear end in their face. And I was so embarrassed. And this man said, he's like, do you make HR videos on social media? And my daughter was whipping out her phone. It was the only thing cooler is when your kids see it and they think you're not a complete weirdo. Look at you are.
Yeah. If you ever see me out and I'm with my husband or my children, please, because they don't think I'm cool at all. So specifically my almost 11-year-old, please, for the love of God.
I don't know. You have 700 million followers.
He's 16
on Instagram. It's pretty cool.
Oh gosh, I'm cognizant of time. Of course, we're not going to have a hard stop. Look at us. We suck at time management. But that's okay. It's the holidays. Any other questions? Any other questions we have, Ashley, that we want to hit real quick before we do the giveaways, of course, and favorite things?
I mean, so two things we'll talk about in the upcoming in season 2 is so we'll have to leave it at that a little bit because one is the craziest thing we've seen at work, but we have to put. I mean, you will hear our stories. We have many crazy things we've heard, and so we will put them. Many of them involve. Well, I mean, Lee started off the season, but so we'll with the toe sucking and the bodily functions. But we promise you, we will bring you every single week some wild stories from the field.
I was going to say, I mean, just please go check out HR Manifesto, but go back like a year or two. I used to like really share like anything and everything. I mean, it's a lot and it's all true. You know, so people are like, you're making this crap up. No, I'm not.
Yes.
Like these are real things that have happened in my work career. And that's why it's hard for me to sleep at night. But that's okay. You know, happy holidays. Lots of crazy stories, though. Lots of crazy stories. Any other questions, Ashley?
Another one is going to be how to find a mentor at work. And that's a subject we're actually going to be tackling on season 2, which is how to have those. So we will tackle that because that's longer than we can get into in a quick Q&A. We want to
these questions are deep. I love it. In fact, we should just do like a Q&A pod episode, right?
I think we're going to.
Like we'll solicit for questions and then just be like, hey, this is a viewer's question, viewer's choice. Choose your own adventure. That would be good.
Yeah,
but
and also we are collecting stories as well. So if you have a crazy HR story, send it to us. I put it in the chat. You can send it either through our HR besties page, or you can send it horrendoushr@gmail.com. I'm collecting them there as well. And not only are the three of us going to have our crazy HR stories, but we're going to read anonymously y'all's as well.
So in our last minute, we'll do some giveaways. And the way we're going to do it is, I think the first people to email hello@HRBesties, which is our email address. And so we will do it in that order. And so we will let you know if you want something or not, but we have a few things to give away. And that felt like the most fair way to do it. And you can also, while you're there, you can send things. Again, we will do things anonymously, but I will kick it off and show you, because we have our favorite things. One of my favorite things is a puffin. And so Puffin sent these to us. So full disclosure, but I love Puffin. And I talked about how much I love Puffin. And Puffin was very nice and said, hey, we will give you a couple. So Puffin are koozies that look like other things. Love a good shrunken thing. It is a koozie that looks like a parka. And there we go. So this is one of the things. So we will be giving away different things. So email hello@hrbesties.com, and we will again let you know what you have won for those that won. And if you did not, we will let you know. We always back. So yes, I will give you 2 different people away these puffins, and they're a blast.
And we'll put it in our stories too, right?
Yes.
So we're just not making this up. Right? Yeah. Like it's like for real, we have stuff. I have a couple giveaways myself. If you all have seen WTF notebooks, the three of us freaking love them. But they gave us, shout out to WT Notebooks, a couple of things. And so 2 separate prizes. The first is this hardback notebook here. Oh,
ASMR.
I know. Did you see that instantly do that? But this one is entitled Shit HR Wants Me to Stop Saying. So definitely thought that was appropriate. And then this one, it's like an 8x10 spiral bound, whatever notebook. It's a notebook. It's a whatever. Like, what is that? Employees I'm thinking about firing. That's so cute. Like 'tis the season for HR. So those are 2 of the gifts there, and I'll mail those to you. I'll put a little, I was going to say love letter, but that's probably inappropriate from an HR perspective, but that's okay. I'll still do it. And then I am working with a company, again, another shout out, brand shout out, Aura, which is a mental wellness app. And I don't know if anyone is using that, but they reached out to me and offered me a trial, and I have just fallen in love with it, or else I wouldn't recommend it to you all. But they have given us a 3-month premium subscription to that app, and they have everything on that app. And so we're going to give one of those away, like 'tis the season for self-care and mental wellness. Am I right? But definitely check out my stories now. I've got something up on them if you want a link, because they're offering all of you all a week of premium, as well as 40% off any subscription, right? So definitely check that out. And that's one of the gifts there. Jamie, what do you got?
I have 111 candles. They are a hand poured soy candles, and they smell amazing, but they also have crystals in them, and I'm a crystal girly. But I want that whoever wins that, you get to pick out your candle. So I'm not gonna pick your scent for you. And then we have PB Forever, which is a t-shirt brand that I'm obsessed with, and they're really cute. But once again, you have to pick it out yourself and then tell me what you want, and I will send it to you. And we have, don't forget, HR Besties merch.
I do.
Yes. So we will be. Yes.
I have this. I opened it to show you, but it's new. So, but I'm going to mail it to you. I have not used this unless you want me to use it and then mail it to you. That's kind of weird. That's like a OF thing. But anyways, we have this mug that went down a weird place. I apologize.
Show your feet.
Yeah, exactly. That's not one of the gifts, but we have this incredible mug here. Absolutely love. And so that is one of the gifts there. And then also a gift certificate for HR Besties merch. And so we'll send you a special code so you can pick something out. So that's another one of the gifts. So we're so excited to share with you all. And I see the question in the chat. What is the email address again?
hello@hrbesties.com. I put it in and I tried to type in speak. So my sentence doesn't even make sense. Is the email to send an email to enter, blah, blah, blah. But hello@hrbesties.com. I didn't use that because I think that might attract spam. Maybe that's an urban legend, but yes.
Yeah.
Send us a note and just be like, hey, I'd like to enter.
I tried to do it too in the chat.
So yes, we're super excited. Thank you all for season 1. I mean, we hit the top 10 business on Apple and Spotify, which is very exciting. But all together, like when we get these notes, we get the submissions to our website. It literally this is the feedback that like we've lived our entire professional lives for. And we really enjoy it. We love being together. We have a good time together, and we're about to get together and do season 2. So we have anything exciting to tease in season 2, Lee and Jamie?
Well, what I'll say is I think for season 2, we may have some special guests. So I know. So that'll be cool. We'll probably do some, like we said here, some question and comments sort of seasons there. So excited about that. So we're going to mix it up a little bit. Still, joining our staff meeting and whatnot, but it'll definitely have, some new flavor and some hard hitting content there. So we cannot wait to share that with you.
Jamie, season 2024.
I just want to say thank you guys so much. I created Humorous Resources when I was a department of one, and this podcast has really made me feel like I'm not alone. And every comment, every like, every share, every review means the world to us. And I'm not kidding. Our chats, our little text back and forth to each other are always filled with them, and we're always crying because it really does mean the world to us that you guys appreciate this. And I'm glad we're able to put HR on the map finally.
Yes. Thank you so much for spending a December Monday with us. I know we added an extra meeting on your calendar, but we so appreciate you all, and we look forward to season 2 with you all as well. So thank you so much. We'll announce the winners in our stories, and we will definitely get back to everybody and get those gifts out to you. Crossing fingers that you win. But thank you so much again, everybody, for joining us tonight.
Thank you all so much. We can't wait. In 2024, we have a few events. We will announce them in the future that we will be at. And so if you'd like to see us at your event or in your city, let us know, because if you think we're fun on video or in your ears, wait till you see us in real life with Lee's platter of shots.
And I'll piggyback off of Ashley.
Exactly.
I always get the word.
You're good at
Happy
that.
holidays. See, I have my Hanukkah tie. There we go.
But happy holidays, everybody. Cheers. Enjoy your celebrations. Keep your pants on at work.
And every other article program.
I know. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Love. Cheers.